Hi, I'm Jeff Ross, the Roastmaster General. We're about to play Who's Getting Roasted. The game is very simple. We'll review some of the best burns from Roast Pass, and I'm gonna guess who the fuck it was about. After each guess, we'll watch the clip, reveal the answer, and relive some of the greatest moments in roast history. Here we go. Pete Davidson said in a roast, blank is so old, her first period was the Renaissance. Pete Davidson must have said that about Martha Stewart at the roast of Justin Bieber. Am I right?
Martha's so old, her first period was the Renaissance.
I think this was Pete's first roast. Like, I thought maybe he'd be sensitive, but the fact was he was ruthless.
It's an honor to be at a roast hosted by Shaq's dick.
I vaguely remember this. Nick Kroll once said, quick reminder that if at any point tonight, blank fully opens his eyes, there will be 6 more weeks of summer. This is Nick Kroll, must have been the roast of James Franco.
Quick reminder that if at any point tonight James fully opens his eyes, there will be 6 more weeks of summer.
I love the James Franco roast because all his friends came out and they're like true actors, like actory actors. Bill Hader came out as like Mr. Show Business or something. That was really original. I love when people try something totally unique in a roast.
Jeff Ross, hi, I'm Hollywood. We haven't met before.
Nice to meet you. Oh, this is a good one. Nikki Glazer said in a roast, blank looks to me like a marionette became a boy, and then that boy became an asshole. That's good. Nikki said that about Jimmy Carr at the roast of Rob Lowe. I remember that.
Ed looks to me like if a marionette became a boy, and then that boy became an asshole. Right?
Oh, I was wrong about that one. Okay. I guess it works for Ed Norton, too. Interchangeable. Good one, Nikki. At a roast, Demi Moore once said, I look at our marriage like the Sixth Sense. You were dead the whole time. That was a great moment when Demi Moore came out at Bruce Willis's roast.
I just look at our marriage like the Sixth Sense. You were dead the whole time.
Now, I was surprised. I had no idea she was there. Oh, well, you know, I got to know Bruce Willis, and as a Jersey guy, that was a big deal. Like, I always loved Bruce Willis. He's a cool guy, he's a rocker. He called me all through the process of preparing for the roast. He would call me and remind me, like, of things to make fun of him about. He's like, I'm dyslexic, you better mention that. He really wanted me to not hold back. He said if I held back, he would look bad. He wouldn't seem like the tough guy people think he is. So he really wanted me to rip into him hard, and probably one of the best sports of all time. Bruce Willis. Bruce Willis wants an Oscar so fucking bad, he's slowly morphing into one. Joan Rivers once said at a roast, you are a thief. You stole my act. You stole my gaze, and you stole the face of the Burger King. I love Joan Rivers. I guess she probably said that about Kathy Griffin, who was the roast master that night and was amazing.
Kathy Griffin. You know what you are, darling? You are a thief. Yes, you stole my act, you stole my gaze, and you stole the face of the Burger King. I am not happy with this.
Joan Rivers went up at the end and had the best set of the night. She schooled everybody. Joan Rivers, unroastable. All right, here's a good one. Amy Schumer, who I love, she said in a roast, blank, you get a bad rap, but you're just like Bruce Willis. You know, you were big in the 80s, and now your old slot's being filled with Ashton Kutcher. I don't even know who she said that about, but that's a good joke.
But no, I mean, Charlie, you get a bad rap, but you're just like Bruce Willis. You know, you were big in the 80s, and now your old slot's being filled with Ashton Kutcher.
So good, so good. The roast of Charlie Sheen, I mean, that was the first truly rock and roll over-the-top roast, I think. Mike Tyson, Steve-O. I dressed like Gaddafi because I was surrounded by all these maniacs. I wanted to fit in.
This is hard. How do you roast a meltdown?
That whole roast stands out. It's just something really special. It wasn't just a celebrity roast of Charlie Sheen. It was a comedic intervention. Also, another guy who was such a good sport. When the roast aired a week or two later, he invited all the roasters up to his mansion to watch it with him. So shout out to Charlie Sheen.
It's true, I've hung around with a lot of shady people over the years. Losers, drug addicts, dealers, desperate whores. But to have you all here on one night is really special.
All right, here's another one that I said once. You are the King Joffrey of pop. Well, come on. Even a stoner like me remembers I said that about the Biebs.
You become a cocky little shit. You are the King Joffrey of pop.
I didn't think that joke was gonna work that well, but I did it right in the beginning, and Game of Thrones was like the #1 show. King Joffrey had just gotten killed in the Red Wedding or whatever it was called, so it was the perfect joke for the perfect time for the perfect guy.
Best part about taking Justin from behind is that you can shave half his head and pretend it's Miley Cyrus.
I'm a method roaster, you know. As soon as I find out I'm roasting someone, I hang up pictures of them all over my house. Right now I have an Alec Baldwin keychain on my keys. I go full roast mode. I watch their movies, I read their books, I listen to their music, their podcasts, whatever, so that I roast as an expert, as a super fan. At a roast, Peyton Manning, the great football player, once said, "The only thing you're consistently on is Twitter," which is surprising because you've never been able to master one character, let alone 140. That's good. Peyton Manning, one of my favorite comedians of all time. Peyton Manning must have said that about Rob Lowe.
The only thing you're consistently on is Twitter, which is surprising because you've never been able to master one character, let alone 140.
When we're putting these daises together, it's fun to have not just great comics and great roasters, but you need great targets. You need some meat. You need somebody to make fun of. So it's fun bringing in non-comic celebrities, and they always score because they have the best writers, the best jokes, and you already know their characters. So as soon as they like put it out there or like do a flip on their character, suddenly you hear Martha Stewart talking dirty.
Ludicrous, you have 3 kids with 3 different women. May I suggest pulling out some time and finishing on some fine, highly absorbent Martha Stewart bed linens?
So it's fun. It's fun bringing on the civilians who are actually big stars. Snoop Dogg once said, "Blank says he wants to run for president and move into the White House. Why not? It wouldn't be the first time he pushed a black family out of their home." You can look this one up in the Library of Congress.
Donald say he wants to run for president and move on into the White House. Why not? It wouldn't be the first time you pushed a black family out of their home.
Suddenly I feel complicit in the whole thing.
Donald Trump is such an egomaniac, he makes Hitler seem like he wasn't completely sure how he felt about Jewish people.
All right, well, here's one from the late, great Greg Giraldo. "You're an old man who dresses like a Hooters waitress." And he must have said that, I'm guessing, about Hulk Hogan, right?
"You're an old man who dresses like a Hooters waitress." Keep your shirt on, bitch tits. You're 80. You had a reality show called Hogan Knows Best. It should have been called Hogan Grows Breasts.
Greg had a great delivery. He was a funny roaster, but just a funny, funny comic. A great mind. I mean, that guy was funny right from the beginning. Even when he was just starting out, you knew he was a special guy. He didn't say anything just to get a laugh. He was really thoughtful. He made a case. He was an attorney by trade, and he left all that. He evolved from an attorney into a comedian, so he was a very, very special guy.
That's a good fucking joke, everybody. It's what we call roasting.
Roast in peace, Greg Giraldo. All right, now it's time for the Roastmaster Lightning round. Let's relive some of the most vicious burns I've ever received and see if I can guess who said them. Jeff, you look like someone put Seth Rogen in the microwave. Fuck you, whoever that was.
What's happening to you, Jeff? You look like someone put Seth Rogen in the microwave.
Pete Davidson said that about me? Has Pete Davidson ever looked in the mirror? He looks like a frog fucked a carrot. Here's another one somebody said about me. He didn't even want to be here. He was just stuck in his chair from the Justin Bieber roast. I resent that. It's kind of true.
My buddy Jeff. He didn't even want to be here. He's just still stuck in his chair from the Bieber roast.
David Spade said that? I'll give him that one. Jeff, during your performance, I wish I bit my own ears off. Mike Tyson.
Normally when I'm next to somebody whose face is grotesque as yours, they throw in the fucking towel, man. You're a mess, man. During your performance, I wish I bit my own ears off, you know? You fucking suck, man.
Thank you for that, Mike. That's a good one. Classic joke that only he could tell about me. James Franco, I love Spring Breakers. Spring Breaker is actually the name we gave Jeff Ross for when he sits on a bed. Because I break the springs because I'm fat? Who said that?
James, I loved Spring Breakers. Spring Breaker is actually the nickname we gave Jeff Ross when he sits on a bed.
Sarah Silverman said it? All right, well, she's like my sister, so I'll let her get away with it. Can we keep it down? I'm trying to bomb over here. Jeff Ross is a legend. His funniness is a legend. But when I say legend, I mean a myth. Patrice O'Neal, one of the funniest motherfuckers ever to do the roast.
Jeff Ross is a legend. His funniness is a legend. But when I say legend, I mean a myth. Like the Loch Ness Monster or Bigfoot, like, we all believe they exist, but who really ever saw it?
Patrice O'Neal closed the Charlie Sheen roast. Epic, classic roast set for the ages.
He stood up, he still survived, and he proved that nobody can keep like a Sheen down, you know? They can keep Estevez down, because his brother, and he's the good one. That motherfucker do everything right, and that nigga's career is over. Holy shit!
Thanks for watching. I really enjoyed this little walk down roast memory lane. And while you're here, be sure to subscribe to the Comedy Central channel. It's like porn for people who like to laugh.